But Dr. Cruz called me one day and he said, Joe, I need to go to the board. And we need to name that building. And he said, I'd like for you to give me at least 3 names that I can present to the board to choose from. I said, okay. I said, well, Cave Hill could be a possible name. I mean, it's right on that street. And another would be, if you step out in the front yard at the school and you look toward Montesano, you get a mountain view. And so I said, well, that's a second choice, mountain view. And another would be Montview. So he took those 3 names, Cave Hill, Mountain View, and Montview, to the board. And then the school board chose to name the building Montview. That I was as excited as they were. I'm serious. I was always excited for first day of school, and I was in it for 33 years. I was always excited about that first day of school, and I always enjoyed my first staff meeting with a new staff or new changes.
Well, when I walk the hallways here, sometimes my mind goes back to a different time. The paint may be different, but it just does bring back a lot of neat memories coming into the school. You know, for a lot of us growing up, that was the first time we actually interacted with other kids besides the kids in our neighborhood. So it was a different structure than what we were used to. You couldn't run down the hall, and then you had different group of people to be answerable to. So it was kind of part of growing up too.
I feel like this was my second home, and parents really looked out for me. And sometimes I run into parents, and they're still very kind and everything, and they like to tell people, "Oh, she taught my child." In fact, I was in I think Miss Branch's room, and there's a little girl in her room, and she saw me and she said, "That was Jada's teacher in 3rd grade. She taught my sister Jada." So the kids that are in 5th grade, they remember me from 1st grade.
It is like a family because it's not a very large school, and it's small enough where you get to know one another. And we're actually here in the building with our colleagues more than we are with our family. So the school, our school home, is an extension of our actual family. We're a close-knit group, and there are just enough children where you can get to know the children, and you can actually say, those are my babies at Montview Elementary School, because it's an ideal size. It's a diamond in the rough.
Whole new world. I had never even stepped foot in the school. And then I came from Mountain Gap, and when I came here, these kids just touched my heart, and I hadn't wanted to go anywhere else. I've raised entire families through this school.
We played the LPs and the records and stuff, so I was still, when I originally got here, still using those records. And a little boy said to me, "Miss Williams, that is the biggest CD I've ever seen." He had never seen it. And I realized then that I had probably gotten old, because I listened to records, and he was so, his eyes were big, and he was just so fascinated with that big record because he thought it was a CD. So those kind of things have changed, over the time, because we don't play records anymore. And a lot of times I do a lot more with my active board as far as finding music and stories and stuff. So I think we're more technology driven in a sense to keep up. So when I started, we weren't. We were just kind of pencil paper books and things like that.
I mean, encyclopedias were pretty much cutting edge reference materials back then. It wasn't like today where you can download the entire change to a government or change to anything going on in the world. I mean, every year there was a new set of encyclopedias, and that was kind of cutting edge for new information.
25 years ago, I had the green chalkboard and the erasers, and I would go home sneezing, covered in chalk. But now it's iPads, computers, and that's the biggest difference, to actually be able to see the transition from using, chalkboard and more paper and pencil versus now the kids are on the iPads and the computers, and the age of technology is the biggest difference. The thing that's the same, children are children. It doesn't matter what age, 25 years ago or today, they still have the runny noses. They want you to kiss their boo-boos. children are children. The times change, but the kids are still the same.
You know, for a school to be celebrating and to have such a big celebration, I think we'll have a big turnout because we've had a lot of children through here. We've had a lot of grown-ups in, teachers come and go, and, you know, principals. But everybody remembers Montview. But you ask anybody, well, I've never heard of that school before, because we're the best kept secret in Huntsville.
Well, I think that what I wanted Montview to be would be echoed by hopefully every administrator or every principal, that anything less than the best is not good enough, because you wanted your kids to make the best on the test scores. You wanted your kids to be the ones who had 100% in attendance because they wanted to come to school. They enjoyed coming to school.